All that scratching to start off this episode. Episode 256 is here. Welcome to the Fight Library. I'm your host, Blaine Henry, and today we are talking about MMA. And when I say MMA, I mean Francis NGannou outboxing the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury. So this is a live podcast, and if you're watching this live, feel free to drop a comment because I can see it here on my iPad where I'm streaming from, and I can also see it here on Twitter, which is off to the side. So if you see me looking to the side, that's because, boom, I got Twitter right here. What's up, Twitter? Or should I say X. Today's podcast episode is brought to you by the UFC because they don't, like Francis NGannou. I got my orange juice right here, guys. I'm ready to go. So, no UFC this weekend. They didn't want to compete with Francie. Oh, Icy Blue is here. Icy Blue is here. What up, Ice? They didn't want to compete with Francis NGannou and Tyson Fury. Probably just Tyson Fury, really, because I think the UFC was cocky enough to actually think that Francis NGannou wasn't a threat. That was wrong. Icy Blue says, "What's up, bruv? I am just chilling. I'm just talking Francis because he's so good. Apparently, he's a boxing world champion now." So the UFC didn't think they should compete with him. D1 Wrestle just joined us on Twitter. And, we were so wrong about that. So wrong. So first thought, what was my first thought? So, first of all, the power of Francis Ngannou is transcendent from just mixed martial arts. It's also into boxing. I mean, a puncher is a puncher, and he is that. He is a puncher through and through. So that is a threat that Tyson Fury knew he had to go in there against. How does he do that? So we saw this in the past, and I said this a lot leading up to the fight. I said, we've seen Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou 3 times already. We saw him fight Deontay Wilder 3 times, and to be honest, he won all 3 of those fights. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this should be the exact same thing. I didn't take into consideration the fact that the main thing that really took the wind out of Deontay Wilder's sails was it was the clinch work and how Tyson Fury leaned on him the entire time. I see. It says a good thing for Tyson they didn't have 4-ounce gloves. Yeah, I think so too, because Francis would have been even more in his element, and I think this was kind of a Francis element here thing too. So the clinch work was Blue. He says that too. Ice. He says Deontay was 218 pounds. The dude is scrawny. He's real thin. I mean, Francis is what, 265? I don't remember what he weighed in at, but he used to cut to make the UFC limit of 265. So yeah, he's a lot stronger than Wilder. 285, he said. And okay, so yeah, the grappling was Deontay Wilder had Tyson Fury leaning all on his back, just miserable, and he would take a knee at several points. It was Tyson Fury, who's 270 pounds, to 218 for Deontay Wilder. I mean, that's a cruiserweight, basically. And Wilder has nukes in his hands. And we saw that in the first fight we saw it in the third fight when he knocked down Tyson Fury. So Deontay Wilder doesn't know how to clinch. Now, if you put that and you extrapolate that a little bit, Francis Ngannou has literally spent his entire MMA career figuring out how not to get takedowns shot on him. Does that make sense? Because it makes sense to me. Instead, this fight, he has a guy that's just going to lean on him. They're not even going to shoot a takedown? What? Yes. Give me that all day long. So if Tyson Fury's idea was, I'm going to do the same thing as Deontay Wilder and see, I'm going to wear him out as the fight goes on. Francis is not so fast. That was a terrible accent. I'm sorry. Not so fast, because he knows this situation better. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Yeah, especially after Stipe won. So yeah, Francis came a long way since that first Stipe fight where he used to just bang people out, which was funny at the time too, because I see he brings up the first Stipe fight, because after that we were like, did we learn anything? Did Francis Ngannou, Mike Pendleton in the house? Did we learn anything about Francis Ngannou? Because he finished everybody after a minute. It was what, JDS he finished. Cain Velasquez was like in 40 seconds or something like that. Jairzinho Rozenstruik in 26 seconds. He brought in DC Kamaru, Henry, and Aljo for the. Did he actually bring those in though? For the grappling? Because it would have been crazy if he has DC in the corner. Teach you, hey bro, I'm not gonna take you down, but I'm gonna show you how this goes. So in these clinch situations, Francis Ngannou has the clear advantage. It's the clearest advantage he has against Tyson Fury. So we thought. He's not scrawny like Deontay Wilder. He's much, much stronger. And you can look at the two, at Wilder and Francis side by side, and you can see Francis Ngannou is much, much thicker. Oh, after the Stipe fight. That's right. Okay, yeah, I remember that now. I thought you brought him in for the Wilder or for the Fury fight. I'm like, that's bold. So yeah, Francis is a lot bigger of a man than Deontay Wilder. Deontay obviously has the arms that could probably hug you around twice. Like, he could wrap his arms around you twice when he hugs you. It's actually kind of funny. But he's not stocky. Okay, so in these clinch situations, that's hard for him to move around a 270-pound man. For Francis, who's been training anti-wrestling his entire UFC career at least, or let's say he's been training this since the first Stipe fight. You know, this is where he's going to thrive, and he thrived there. Sorry guys, my iPad's about to die, so we're not going to be too long anyway. It's just one fight I'm talking about anyway. But anyways, Francis is in these clinch situations. He's bigger than Wilder. He's stronger than Wilder, and he's more comfortable than Wilder. So we'll see, like, there's one really good, I don't remember where, it was earlier in the fight, I believe, where Francis was, he had his forearm pinned against the head of Tyson Fury so he wouldn't lean over him, because Fury had the height advantage. Wow. That right there was something Tyson Fury's never had to deal with. Not in boxing. I mean, he might have played around and wrestled, but he never really took that serious. So, what's he to do here? So he's going to keep trying to clinch. Also, he thrived in the dirty boxing. I'm about to get there. Exactly. I see Blue Chips on Twitter says he thrived in the dirty boxing. And exactly. That is where he was the best, because that negated Tyson Fury's reach. So he's in these clinch situations, and Tyson Fury's like, yo, I can't clinch with him anymore because he's beating me up in the dirty boxing, right where I was going to go. So he's dirty boxing, and he'll grab like these two collar ties, almost a collar tie. He can't reach behind the neck because that's illegal in boxing, but he grabs the two, his arms are up on basically his collarbones. It's on his collarbones. It's almost like if he were to grab the back of his head and pull forward, his can opener. Illegal. You can't do that in boxing, guys. So there he can kind of guide Tyson's head down into an uppercut. And he did that at multiple points in this fight. A couple of them landed, a couple of them didn't. It wasn't a very great go-to technique, but it was a good technique, and it really made Tyson Fury weary to get into these clinch situations with him. So that game plan is out the window. Tyson Fury's like, I can't clinch with this guy anymore. He's too strong, he knows what to do, and he's catching me with uppercuts. I'm going to get knocked out if I stay here, so I have to find something else. So he took away Tyson Fury's best weapon, which is his size. Okay, that's a weapon you got to either be as big as him to take it away, or you got to be clever enough to take it away. And Ngannou was almost both. He wasn't quite the same size as Tyson Fury, but he's a big, strong guy. So, yeah, like he wasn't worried about the clinch situations. So, yeah, the clinch was really the X factor. And, you know, some people are making a big deal about it. Because to be fair, I'm making a big deal about it too. The clinch was just what I was most impressed about. Now, Francis did a lot of good things in this fight that wasn't clinch. Okay, so first of all, we saw he kept his guard high, because you know Fury has that really quick left jab, right cross. Bap, bap. He's really fast with it, and that's really what kind of separates him from the heavyweight. So his speed was something that Francis had to deal with, and Francis struggled to deal with it. He struggled to deal with it most of the night, but he wasn't scared of it, which was crazy to think about because he's in there with the heavyweight champion of the world. Wow. But I loved it. Because Francis went in there, and obviously we all know the third round knockdown with the left hook, not the right hand, mind you, the left. Switching stance also confused Fury because a boxer usually only uses one stance, orthodox or southpaw, just as Icy Blue Chips on Twitter says. Yes, okay, so Tyson Fury, I read in his book a while back, I think it was Behind the Mask, his book, and he talked about having to go against Chisora in the second fight. Chisora gave him a little bit of problems in the first fight, so what did Tyson Fury do? He boxed in southpaw. And he beat Chisora in southpaw because it's Derek Chisora. And yeah, he's Derek Chisora. So what Francis did was like, oh, you're southpaw? I'm going southpaw too. And Tyson didn't really have much for him in that department. I'm like, whoa. This is something to be looking at because who else is a southpaw? Alexander Usyk. Usyk is a southpaw. So that's something I'm going to have to go back and look at and kind of break down. I kind of got the gist of it when the fight was happening, and I wasn't paying attention to that when I went and rewatched the fight. But Ghost, my dude Ghost, that's Ghost Chains with Zhang Weili. Yes, Usyk though, he's a southpaw. So I got to go back and watch the southpaw portions of this fight because Fury didn't look like he had much offense from that position. But again, I don't take my word on that. I'm remembering that vaguely. So, and then Fury would switch to orthodox. Okay, I don't have nothing to southpaw, so that's another weapon. So he's taking, and Ngannou's taking the size away, and he's taking the southpaw away because he can't get anything, like, he's not comfortable enough in southpaw to box another southpaw. Even though the weapon should be the same from orthodox to orthodox. His stronger hand is up front now. His weaker hand's the cross. So what's Tyson Fury to do? He's like, okay, well, I'm going to go back to the jab. He goes back to the jab, and Francis starts coming over the top with the left. So all night, Francis Ngannou had answers for everything Tyson Fury did. Were they perfect answers? No. They were not perfect answers by any stretch of the imagination at all. But were they adequate answers? They were enough to have the public thinking, hey, did Francis Ngannou win this fight? And he might have. But we'll never know because the judges gave Tyson Fury a split decision. That split decision, though, is a win for Francis. It's literally, a judge scored me the winner of this fight. You know, I mean, that doesn't get him the lineal heavyweight title or anything like that, which he wants to be. I agree. He should have. No, I'm not going to say he should have won that fight. He should have been the lineal, because he didn't win that fight, okay? A lot of people were like, oh, that's a robbery. No, it's a close fight. We got to quit calling close robberies. Okay, I had Tyson Fury winning. Just because we gave Francis a knockdown doesn't mean he wins the whole fight. So I can give Francis credit. He fought fantastic. But I don't think personally he won that fight. If I was scoring that, I would have had it by probably 2 rounds or 3 rounds to Tyson Fury, and one of those would be taken away because of the 10-8 round in round 3 for the knockdown. So yeah, rematch. You know, I don't know if this fight was like Tyson Fury not taking it serious, because you got to think, if he's going up against Alexander Usyk in December, he's like, man, I can't be in training camp for 12 weeks for Francis Ngannou, and then another however many weeks for Alexander Usyk. I'm going to be burnt out by them. So he had to do some risk management here and say, okay, what's going to work for me here? Is it going to be Usyk the bigger threat or Francis Ngannou? Now, with Usyk being a southpaw, and Usyk didn't look good in his last fight against Miller. The body work really hurt him, and Tyson Fury does really good work in the body. But I don't know if he does that good against southpaws. I'm not sure what southpaws Tyson Fury's fought in his career. Yeah, he's definitely, there's no way. Icy Blue Chips on Twitter says he's not going to do Usyk until next year. There's no way he does Usyk on the 23rd. That date, Usyk wants to push for it. Yeah, it was Dubois, I'm sorry, not Miller, whoever I said. Yeah, he looked mad. The body work really hurt him in that fight. So Tyson Fury had this lackluster performance. Usyk had this lackluster performance. Is the magic gone from that fight? Absolutely not. It's going to be a great fight, and I, for one, can't wait, because I'm a big Usyk stan. I like Lomachenko. I like those 2 Ukrainian guys. They're fantastic. But those guys aren't as invincible as we thought. Now, Francis, he'll be ranked by the WBC, which is really cool. It'll be cool to. It would have been cool. Yeah, I want it to. It'll be really cool to see Francis Ngannou, the lineal UFC champion, the PFL champion, and ranked by the WBC. That'll be like, wow. We're at a new era for fighting, though. So, like, mixed martial arts, they've always had to worry about, okay, I got to be able to wrestle, I got to be able to box. But then we're getting to where, like, these wrestlers are coming up and they're really good. They're not Olympic wrestlers yet, but they will be. Boxing's getting really good. Francis Ngannou almost beat the lineal champion. That's a long way from Conor McGregor getting carried by Floyd Mayweather for 10 rounds. So, yeah, I'm excited about the fight. Make Wilder or Joshua versus Francis. I like the Deontay Wilder fight a lot. I wrote about that on Bloody Elbow. That's the fight I want. I want that or the winner of the PFL championship, which is the 24th of this month. And I also like Zhang, not Wiley Zhang, goodness. Zhang Zhili, the interim champion. And I also, I like the Joshua fight, I guess. But Joshua could beat him. I don't know if he takes him serious. So, yeah, great night of fights. Yeah, let's see Francis fight again. Let's see him box again. It was a good showing. Yeah, Zhang Zhili is a beast. He's good, but he's also old. But he did pick apart Joe Joyce. That's another one I'd like to see Francis Ngannou fight as Joe Joyce. That'd be great because Joyce's chin is obviously washed. Let's get him a knockout. Let's get Francis a knockout in MMA. In boxing, not MMA. Let's get Francis a knockout in boxing. Book him against Joe Joyce. I was going to say against Derek Chisora, but no. One more thing before I go, though. Like Gary Friel, he brought up that Tyson Fury was like, oh, I've been out of the ring for 11 months. But he's like, Francis hadn't fought in 2 years. Good point, Gary. It's not very often I give the Scot a good compliment. But Gary's the man. So I guess I'll have to give it to him. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for today. My iPad's just about to die. Follow me on YouTube, which is streaming right here. Follow me on Twitter, which is here. Fight Library on YouTube. Blaine Henry, TFL, the Fight Library on Twitter. You can also follow me on Substack, fightlibrary.twitter.com. And if you really want to show me some love, Patreon, where I just posted a wonderful article about the flying knee. $5 a month, super cheap. Come on, guys. Give me some love. I would love it. I would love you forever. You guys are the best. I'm out. Icy Blue Chip says he's coming off of ACL and MCL surgery too. Yes, we forget that happened against Cyril Gane. So, yeah, against all odds, Francis Ngannou is the champion of the world. I'm out, guys. Later.